Hello friends, it's Kristie Marcotte. I still have one more summer video I want to work on, but first I wanted to take a quick break and make a fall card. I also wanted to try some ink smooshing. I've never done it before, and I was inspired by a recent video from Mary Polanco, so I thought, well, let's go ahead and give it a try. I have 3 different Distress Oxide inks. There's the Bundled Sage, Scattered Straw, and Fossilized Amber. And I just smushed them down on my mat. I'm going to squirt them with some water. I'll be using some watercolor paper. And then I have a water brush. It's going to mix up that ink real quick. Just wiping off the extra so I'm not mixing the colors too much. So there are my 3 colors. Thought this would work nicely for a fall background. Then I'm going to take the textured side of the watercolor paper and just tap it down into that ink. Now this is the first time I've ever tried this technique. I am definitely not an expert, but it was really fun to get some different backgrounds. And unfortunately my camera really didn't pick up this yellow color very well. It seemed to blow out all of the color. Not sure if it's because it's wet, but you'll be able to see it better once it dries. So here is the background all finished. I also added some color shine. This is by Heidi Swapp. It's the gold color. Not sure this is even available anymore, but I thought it would add a little extra detail to the background. Now I'll use this stitched rectangle die by Whimsy stamps to cut out this panel, add some more detail. Now since this is watercolor paper, it does warp after it's been wet, so I'm going to use some Scor-Tape on the back. And I'll be adhering this to some gold satin mirror cardstock. So in addition to that Scor-Tape, I'm also going to add some liquid adhesive. I'm going to put it just around the edge. Just want to make sure that panel is going to sit nice and flat on my card. I'm using my favorite liquid adhesive. This is Art Glitter Glue, and I love the metal tip so you can get into those really small areas. I'll adhere this panel onto that gold mirror cardstock, and it wasn't quite even, so I did go and trim that down real quick. Next I'll put my card front onto my card base. For this card I decided not to have any of that white card base showing. Next I'll add 3 leaf die cuts. I used Paper Rose's Outback Tones paper collection and also their leaf dies to cut these out. But these were really pretty. They have a lovely detail to them. Since the die cuts are very delicate, I'm using my tweezers to hold, and here's where that glue with the metal tip comes in really handy. It's easy to get that thin layer of liquid adhesive all along the back of the die cut without making a huge mess. And since the glue dries very quickly, you don't have to hold it very long on your card. Now that I have all of my leaves glued down, I can add a sentiment. Now I'm going to make it really simple, no stamping this time. I'm using one of the sentiment strips from Paper Rose's Black and White Sentiments. I used these on a previous video and I have so many left over. I'm sure it's going to last me for years. I chose the black version of Just Because. I'm going to pop this up using some thin foam squares. I usually have the white foam squares, but they also sell them in black. I like to use the black foam squares behind darker paper. So I'll just adhere this sentiment underneath that right side leaf. And then to finish off the card, I'm going to add a little bit of bling. These are gold crystals by Studio Katia. I'll also use their embellishment wand since it makes it super easy to pick these up. Put some glue on my card first, and then I can place those crystals. These have a beautiful sparkle to them. Matches nicely with all of the shine on the background of the card. So there is my finished card, and I did end up making 3. And it's fun because the background on each of the cards looks different. There's no way you can get the exact same look when you're doing the ink smooshing. This technique was a lot of fun. I know people have been using it for years. I get so focused on pattern paper since that is my favorite thing, but it is fun to try something a little different. I will have links provided in the description box for most of the products used in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.